Okay, I got a question for all you guys. What's been the hardest part of this? What's been the most difficult, challenging part for you guys while building this?
Not knowing what's in the soil in buildings that are existing that does not show on the prints. So you go to dig, and you only have to have a 12-inch footing, and you start digging and you found a whole building. And the next thing you know, your footing became 6 foot wide. Yeah, that too.
My name is Aubrey, AG II. My company's name is Anti-Gravity LLC. I am a green consultant. I help people figure out in commercial and single-family spaces how they can get solar, battery backup, as well as geothermal, heat pumps, use of like green materials, more energy efficient walling, the whole gamut, and also water management. So the goal is to be net zero. So I help folks figure out how to do that, and also how to get the funding from the federal government as well.
Where can we find you at?
You can find me at antigravitydetroit.com.
Nice. Social media?
Yep. And social media is everywhere.
Gotcha.
It's Anti-Gravity Detroit, Instagram.
You're actually working on a project on East Warren now, right?
That's correct. So I'm working with the East Warren Development Corporation, helping them involve components of net zero, of green. So they have a geothermal system that's going to be 60 tons. That's going to be closed vertical loops that'll go 400 feet in the ground. We're also working on having a solar and battery backup system to make them autonomous for 2 days and to be a resiliency hub for the community. So people can come up and plug their phones in. They'll have some electric vehicle chargers as well.
Wow.
And we're also going to manage the water. So we'll have like a rain barrel system of 500 to 5,000 gallons. I haven't figured out which one yet. But we're going to manage the water. We're trying to make this as green and as net zero as possible. And just FYI, net zero means you produce as much energy as you consume. So you can almost be off grid when it comes to electricity and for heat and air conditioning.
These are those like Beatles ones. I don't know. They came in a pack. They're Happy Socks. They came in a pack of Beatles ones, and they're all like Beatles related. But I don't know the Beatles well enough to be able to say, oh, it was like this song.
Right.
But yeah, it's something to do with the Beatles.
In terms of like
Substrate.
those
Oh,
terraces, I guess I never really.
It'll
used-
last for like.
But they were
I
more
couldn't tell you.
Like,
Yeah.
it was built.
That's the tough part about the paper parking
To,
lots
like,
is
it acting
that
I think it was
there
more
is
for,
a
like,
degree of
decorative,
maintenance,
kind of natural
you know,
field
compared
because
to
it was for students
like a
who are,
residential or
they're
light
studying. So I didn't think it.
Yeah.
aspects
But
of it.
that's the
People
other thing.
pulling in and out all day long.
Because I
We
think
also
The
have
plow
patio
trucks.
areas
Yeah.
if
that won't take that traffic.
There's certain
like the parking
things
lot will. And we do
where
have, they're not,
qualifications
you know,
lead that
bioswales.
it doesn't
they're just
really add to
landscaped
the
areas. So
the
I mean, we have
overall
other areas
net
other
zero
than just
energy,
the
if that's what
private
the approach
ones.
is.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So
necessarily
is right
add
now
to
is
it,
it
but
going to
it'll
just go to
still count for
right
it.
now,
a couple of different
all the
yeah.
water?
Yeah, it's gonna go to a couple different downspouts and then just go to the ground.
Right now, it all ties into one, ties
And we
into
don't think it's that
storm
it's that
drains
super hot.
basically, and then out to the city sewer.
No doubt.
So we've already,
But they, you know, kind of said that there were negative connotations to general contractors because, you know, general contractors, you know, try to screw people out of money. So people started using the term construction manager.
Okay.
Which basically means you're doing it open book. So like Eddie sees every bid we get, he sees every invoice. I don't just tell Eddie, I'm building you this building for $1 million, and then I give him an invoice for $1 million.
Alright.
Every invoicing cycle, you know, he sees the $1 million invoice, and then he sees 100,000 invoices backing that up. One from the electrician, one from the plumber, one from, you know, the mechanical contractor. And he says, Shane, why is the tile so expensive? And I say, well, Eddie, you picked out gold tile. He said, well, let's get the tile number down. Let's go with a porcelain tile instead of gold. And I say, okay, your tile line item just went from $100,000 down to $10,000. What should we do with this extra $90,000? And he says, well, I really wanted those appliances that you said that we didn't have the money in the budget for.
Gold appliances.
Let's buy the gold appliances. And that's, you know, basically the difference between a construction manager and a general contractor is everything's open book, and you're looking out for your client's best interests. And you say, okay, you want to complete this project, and your budget is X. How do we make it happen? What do we have to sacrifice? Let's put the numbers and chop it up and make it work. and
Okay.
we're going to keep it all open book and show you how we're going to save money. We work for you basically, and we're trying to make sure that you are taken care of and your budget's going to build the project that you want.
So does the GC have less care? Like on the flip side, do they care less about being like more transparent about the costs, et cetera?
Absolutely.
And
They,
less-
it's all closed book. They just say this job's going to cost you $1 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
it
just
can
come
only
to you.
cost you 700,000.
That's why a lot
It's
of
300,000.
there's a lot of horror stories.
Yeah, I had to fire
some general
fired
contractors
a
have gotten
couple
a
of them
bad
just for stuff
rap
like that.
just
Or just
from like your
like I said,
normal,
quality of work. Not say how you start
population of people is because there are stories of general contractors like screwing over the client that they're building for.
Just a huge change order.
Yeah, exactly. And in the world of construction, it's a big world, but it's also very small. Like once you once you build a reputation as like you do one thing wrong as a general contractor, like you're gonna long term you're screwing yourself out of future business.
Yeah.
But if you're open book, it's much more, you're there to help and assist, and so long term building relationships is just a lot
Easier.
it's better.
Kind of.
But that helps also with communication too. When you have a project manager, right? Because sometimes things get lost in translation between the architect and the contractor and the client.
Yeah.
So there's somebody that corralling all the information and making it plain to everybody.
Yeah.
Then that actually helps. There's a cost to that.
Yeah.
But you're eliminating some of the waste, I would say.
Yeah.
So if it's ran ideally.
Yeah.
Seems more credible though, more trustworthy though. Like if I was you, I would feel more at ease and stuff like that because it is an open book. I
Right.
just so I like that.
It's also kind of like the reason why residential contractors, you have to have a residential builder's license to do any residential work, but you don't have to have any license to build a commercial building. You could go build the
biggest
Sears Tower in Chicago and not have a license to do it. And the thought is kind of that if you can, successfully complete a project like that, you know what you're doing, not any person who just does bathroom remodels is going to be able to go out and build a high rise.
All right.
And so they're kind of trying to limit, the people that go into single family residential construction so that to protect the homeowner. I think the theory behind it is that if you put in, all the time and energy to get your builder's license, then
Right.
you're less likely to take advantage of people.
So who pulls the permit if they're for large construction jobs?
Either the architect or the construction manager.
Okay.
Occasionally the owner, but not very often. Normally it's the CM.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm Josh Atkins. I currently run a small construction company. We do primarily exterior renovations, so paper patios, walls, outdoor kitchens, etc. I found out about Ed's property through a post on Twitter talking about some young developers who are developing Detroit, and I popped up to one of his community events, talked to him, and he was willing to let me tour his location today. It's a beautiful build, and it's really inspirational to see some really large-scale projects for some African Americans who are, rebuilding Detroit. So I'm looking to get into development. Ed's going to give me some information, a little bit of mentorship, guidance, and I'm really appreciative of it. So
Yeah.
congrats, Ed. You're doing really good stuff.
Appreciate
and,
it,
hope
man.
you keep building this city of Detroit.
Yeah, and so where can we find you at? Because you actually have a pretty robust business already as it is, all right? So, talk to us a little bit more from a low level, what you do and where we can find you at.
Yeah, so in a basic sense, we like to make busy professionals' homes better. The quality of life at home has to improve. Ever since COVID, people have been investing a lot in their homes versus going on trips and things of that nature. So that's what we do: landscaping, hardscaping, and we do small projects, large projects, and everywhere in between. And yeah, that's basically it. But you can find us on YouTube. We have a really engaged YouTube channel that shows a lot of our builds from start to finish. If you'd like to watch time-lapse videos, you've got tons of there to see. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram. The name of the company is Odd Jobs LLC. On YouTube, you can find us at Odd Jobs Design and Build. And on Instagram, you can find us at oddjobs.mi.
Okay, I got a question for all you guys. What's
listening.
been the hardest part of this? What's been the most difficult, challenging part for you guys while building this?
Not knowing what's in the soil in buildings that are existing that does not show on the prints. So you go to dig, and you only have to have a 12-inch footing, and you start digging and you found a whole building. and the next thing you know, your footing became 6 foot wide.
Yeah, your soil capacity changed.
Yeah, that too.
For residential use or just for the roof?
Commercial as well.
Yeah, so originally there was going to be access, but from a cost standpoint, we just had to eliminate that. There could be some future idea, perhaps down the road, but for right now, this won't be accessible to the general public or the residents of the building. This is accessible purely for maintenance at this state.
That would be smart though. Thinking about like other things like people coming up to the roof and not trying to jump off or nothing like that. So like honestly, not
insurance actually goes up too. If we had something up here, that also has an
there's-
effect on insurance.
With everything, whether it's extra recreational, it's definitely something that would be really cool to see. It's just, the associated cost is much more than just putting like a common area up here. Like Eddie said, there's an insurance cost associated with it, et cetera, et cetera. You can run into a lot of
we actually
costs.
saved a bit of money not having the elevator come up to this fourth floor as well.
That's another thing. Like with this, since there's no access needed by the public or the residents, there's no reason to have the elevator come all the way up to the roof deck, and that actually saved us some money from an elevator standpoint.
That's really smart though.
With material, labor, and stuff like that. So.
See, that's why it's important y'all working as a team.
So how you guys doing, man? I'm Cordell Kelly. I graduated from Morehouse College. I came down here, man, just a young black developer down here, trying to restore Detroit and just uplift my community and stuff like that. So right now what I do is did a couple fix and flips right now, have a project going on right now, and just trying to take it from that to just building multi-families as well, and just working, meeting guys like my guy here and just working with great people, man. So excited to be here, excited to be a part of it, and just had this experience. So thank you guys.
Awesome.
My name is Ian. I'm the project manager here. My name is Ian. I work with Artisan Contracting, who's the general contractor for the Ribbon project, owned by Eddie with Flux City. Kind of how I got started in construction was at a younger age. I took a large interest in just being part of building like large scale projects like skyscrapers when I was a kid, and I didn't know how to get into that, and my dad's an engineer and he told me about architectural engineering, so I actually initially went to school, a college for architectural engineering. I had to travel out of state because there wasn't any 4-year programs for architectural engineering. I went to Kansas State University. About my second year into that program, I kind of realized that I didn't necessarily want to go down the architectural engineering role. It was much less hands-on than I wanted. It was also a more difficult program looking back at it. And I also had done an internship my first summer, and none of it just really appealed to me. And I learned about construction management through the college. Basically, construction management, what they do is they sit in between. If you're to picture the construction process like a tree, at the top of the tree is or a pyramid even. At the top of the pyramid is the owner. He decides that he wants to go and build a project. So the first thing he's going to do to make that a reality is usually he's going to reach out to an architect. That architect is going to do some renderings, and that architect is going to start getting engineers involved, whether it's civil, mechanical, structural, all of these engineers that have to kind of ensure that a particular scope of that building is being constructed up to specifications. At the point where everything on the blueprints are a reality, then you go and you hire someone who is a general contractor or a construction management firm. And that's where Artisan, my company, comes into play. So you give us the blueprints. What we do is we start bidding the project. Like, we tell the owner how much this is realistically going to cost and what the time frame is to build this project. the way we figure that out is we reach out to different subcontractors who specifically work on different scopes of the building, whether it's a plumber, whether it's a mechanic or electrician. We reach out to all of these different scopes and we have them turn in bids for their specific scope of work. And we compile a number and we compile a timeline and a schedule, and we give this to the owner and we say, this is what it's going to cost, this is how long it's going to take us. And then at that point we move forward. So my day-to-day looks kind of, it looks a little different with a smaller company. I do a lot of different things. I help to estimate different projects that we're trying to win an award for, where we're trying to get that project awarded to us. Right now I'm managing day-to-day operations on the ribbon, whether it's, ensuring things are being installed properly, scheduling different contractors, subcontractors to be on site on time so that we can meet our deadline with our schedule. And that's kind of what I do on a daily basis. I mean, there's more to it than just that, but that's kind of a general idea. So, kind of going back to how I got into it. So I went to school for architectural engineering, switched my degree to construction management, and I took my time with the degree, so I didn't get it in 4 years like that. But what that did was it gave me the opportunity to do many more internships and spend more time in the real world of construction rather than just in the classroom. That helped me to gain a lot of knowledge as well. But basically, the classroom and the field work combined helped me to gain all of the knowledge that I currently have. But I'm always learning. Like, I'm learning so much on this project alone. But that's kind of how I gained my cursory knowledge, which was again through college and through internships that I did. But yeah, I mean, as far as what I'd say to someone who wants to be in the construction world, I think you got to make a decision as to, do you want to be on the design side? Then you're probably leaning more towards the architect or engineer role. Those are much more heavy office jobs, so you're not going to see a lot of the day-to-day work that happens on the construction site. But if you want to be involved in the constructability of a project and be part of the day-to-day operations that it takes to build a project, then I would suggest the construction management. Essentially what you're doing is you're managing the project. Again, from the early stages of bidding the work to completion of boots on the ground and actually putting the brick and the steel and the wood and the drywall, all those things together. If you actually want to do the work, then go work for a trade. Go work for an electrician. They pay really well. Go work for a plumber. For me, I just didn't see myself. I've seen a lot of construction guys who get burned out very easily in their life. And so I leaned more towards the management side of things because it's kind of a happy medium of office work and field work. So I liked that kind of mix up of the two worlds, and that's kind of why I went with the construction management side of things. And I'm very happy with where I'm at. I will say it was a great career choice for myself.
So I'm just leaving a community event. This was 2 of 2, and this is where I wanted to basically thank the community for supporting me through the overall process of getting my project on East Warren to where it's at today. So last week I was at Eastside Roasters. Today I was at Morningside Cafe, and we had a pretty good amount of folks stop by. And we had a few people stop by today who came across my project from Twitter, and thought that was pretty cool to hear that a project that I'm working on was shared on Twitter and got people motivated. How you doing? Good, good. To a point where they sought me out, motivated, and ultimately wanting to do their own project in one capacity or another. So really, really cool stuff. So I don't know how, but I ended up locking my keys in the truck. Yikes. All right, well, wish me luck as I try to figure out a way to get these keys out of this truck here. All right, so that's it for this week's episode. We had a pretty busy week. We had a few folks, aspiring developers, stop by, and actually met Joshua earlier last week at a community engagement event that we had at Eastside Roasters. And man, that guy is sharp. He's young guy, graduated from Morehouse. Met Joshua, found out that he has this company that does permeable pavers. Has 10 people working under him. He's 24 years old. Really good guy. So shout out to him and his team. But really, really good to be able to motivate others and to give others an opportunity to see what I'm doing as something that they can accomplish as well. But we also had a chance to continue our community engagement push. We met with folks over at Morningside Cafe earlier this week as well. Had a chance to talk to a number of residents over in that community. Shout out to Jeff for allowing for us to use his place and drink his wonderful coffee during that event. But we really just want to try our best at listening and hearing the community and thanking the community, even after we have started this construction of a site off of East Warren. We just want to once again make sure that we don't stop our community engagement once we get what we want. We want to continue our engagement and continue to let the community know that we're here, we're listening, and we thank them for basically putting us in the position to be able to develop the project that we're highlighting with you throughout these weekly episodes currently. The community had a direct decision as to who would have the ability to develop the site that we're working on, and so the least I can do is buy him a cup of coffee. So we also had a few people over the last year ask me how Ian got to a point where he knows so much. He's really a go-to guy when it comes to showing you guys the happenings at the site. He's a young guy, 28, really, really knowledgeable about the construction field. And so having an opportunity to have him provide you with a bit of a backstory as to how he got into the field was something that I wanted to accomplish. And luckily he was able to pull away from his busy schedule and provide us with that insight. So if you're considering a career in the construction field, take heed to what he's saying and think through the things that he was talking about. But overall, I just appreciate you guys for chiming in with me and listening to me ramble, and allowing for me to just show random things about what we're working on. And at the end of the day, I just appreciate you guys. So with that said, that's the end of today's episode, and I'll talk to you soon.